Hey, how's it going? I am going to read you some cards, but first I would like you to please look at my signs. Oh, that better? How about not have my head in there? All right, whatever. They're just back there. You can expand the picture if you want to know what they say that badly. Basically, it's a foot stop to keep it from, fatally being in my mouth. What's that say? Oh. Nothing important, excuse me. So, I pulled some cards, and they came out kind of funny. And they came out yesterday because I sat down for a minute to meditate and fell asleep. And then this morning I had a lot to do, so I didn't get around to it till now. It's evening. So the first ones that came out were from the angel number deck, and they were 1414, and the subtitle is Lighten Up. Now I'm eating my hair. And the other one that was sort of a Klingon to the back of that thing, I don't know, I thought I was grabbing one, I ended up with two. Oh, that's right, they fell on the floor together. I don't like hair on my tongue, do you? So the other card was the 1010 card, and the subtitle on it is It's Up to You. I pulled a card, okay, calm down. So from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, they too sort of exploded a bunch of cards at me, and one came out just on its own, and it was the number 24 card. 2 and 4 is 6, and 6 means like balance, like you're juggling. And I think it's the juggling where you kind of got it under control. That seems like, I feel like there's more with that, so I'll probably have to add it to the box because I have a lot of cards and I want to move on. So anyway, the number 24 card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck is the Galactic Mushroom. Galactic Mushroom. I guess mushroom's correct as well. And the subtitle for this one is The Divine Matrix. And notice in that little center thingy of the flower, which I used to know the name of that, but I don't remember. Of course, in the moment, it just flew away, but there's sort of a face happening on there. Like, where I'm in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, like not on top of the Canadian border, but like near it, sort of. And right before I learned about how the mushroom systems work underground, like I don't even want to call it a root system really, because it's almost like more is happening downtown underground with these connecting, I don't know, I don't have another word for them than roots. I think there is another word for it, but it's fled. But what I learned about probably like 6 months later, like I knew there was a root system, I know that they can communicate with each other. I learned subsequently that they can communicate with each other over far distances, and it sounds like They don't even necessarily have to be physically connected, like a quantum kind of deal, which I think is incredibly cool. So, like, I had learned that, and then about 6 months later, I learned that I don't think I live on it at the moment, but when I lived north of where I live, I think I was on top of it, which would be I don't want to say where it is, but and I might still be on top of it too, but there is a huge mat underground of mushroom entanglement. Like, obviously there's tree root systems going on. I don't know how everything intermingles under the ground, because there's so many root systems that are happening down there, and other kinds of like meshes of systems, and it is intense. But I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I live over the mushroom world. Hold on. Wow. I got out coffee and all they had was sugar, and I haven't used straight sugar for a while. What does that say? Get off of there. Big old finger. Sorry. So, anyway, I pulled this off, and then I don't even remember how it happened, but was it 4? Yeah, 4 more squirted out like a dang Vegas card dealer or magician, like so perfectly in a row. It was weird. So I noticed it, and then I saw what they were, and I'm just going to show you the number 54 card, the crossing, and the subtitle is Initiation. Okay. Then came the number 34 card, Lay of the Land, and the subtitle is Ancestral Wisdom. Then came the number 1 card, A Tidy House, Clarity and Organization is the subtitle. And the final one was the number 25 card, the Garden of Venus, and the subtitle for this one is Rest and Renewal. I just felt like that was a whole sequence of events, like describing something in a way. Like, you connect with this, and I would think it's like an ayahuasca experience. Like, you connect to it, and it then connects you to more openings of like other dimensions, like opening your mind maybe just to the possibility, and then it can happen. Because wow, manifestation is happening so fast right now. It's not even funny. Well, anyway, sure, it's not even funny. It's happening alarmingly fast, actually. So that kind of makes me feel like in the way of ayahuasca, like maybe this mat is kind of aiding and abetting the current time. Like, there was just a full moon. The last week of May was pretty portentous and eventful, like astrology and current events and like all kinds of intertwining threads, like a mushroom root map or a evergreen tree root system that is just really big physically, and even bigger in the non-physical, like frequency messaging sense. And I feel like once you like make contact with it and you experience each other, and you know, your mind changes, or your thinking, your way of feeling stuff, like you maybe get more stuff turned on that it's just been there all along and you were like not aware of it. Like didn't see the switch, couldn't find the doorknob. So you like have visited the land of mushroom. Oh, they're both, stop facing each other. That does not help me. And from the experience and like whatever that experience entails, like if it turns into some kind of personal ritual or prescribed one, at any rate, having done that, you learn the lay of the land. Where'd it go? You've like gone through the initiation and made the crossing, and like possibly it could be construed as an actual land bridge, or excuse me for 1 second. Can't have that. Anyway, and then metaphorically, you've made this cosmic crossing and learned the lay of the land from the cosmic crossing. And in the way that you've gotten like perhaps some ability or something turned on or sharpened, you have to go through like a certain number of I guess tests when you are going through an initiation. You know, but I'm thinking like there's some forms you have to learn, you know, or that you have to accustom yourself to. But you know, it's when you're initiated into something, it's just, you're learning something new. That's like definition 1 right there. Or you have learned them. Learning part. Anyway, you go through the various phases and eventually you get to like the most sort of efficient and beautiful solution, which would be, I guess this one is like the least offensive. Like this to me is just, this is like a mind in disarray to me. And this one is like, I want to almost say like complacent and comfortable, but something that is like almost like aside from reality. Like whatever the world is outside, you might open the door to your personal space and what you walk into looks more like this, or feels like warm and comfortable and relaxed and just well established and not like concerned with appearances. It's like you've gone through stages and you can present this way, but maybe inside you feel more like this. But either way though, for like public consumption, you've got the uniform, you've got the idea, like you know what's expected of you. For the normies, I guess. And you know, there, well, in our lives, not just the ones we're living now, but you know, like I believe in reincarnation, so that being the case, I'm gonna presume there were already previous lives that I've had, and then there will be more to come, because it's like the package wears out. All of this. But the spirit lives on. So, the goal is like nirvana or whatever, like, you know, the Garden of Venus. Oh, you know, that happy place. That's what you want to eventually get to. And the subtitle on this one is Rest and Renewal, and I can't help but think of like this sort of shabby but comfortable warmly, orangely lit. Orangely. It works for me. The orangely lit sort of really relaxed, like you're at home, you know, the you're at home. But yeah, you get there and you just all, and I guess is that like what we have to look forward to? I think so. I know so, actually. Because even human history has cycles. You know, we've been like going through some, not like recently, but we have gone through some not great times for like the whole world, really. And now things are a little different. The wars are like businesses. I mean, I guess that was always the case, but I guess in the modern era, it just even seems more like a cash register type deal than anything else. Why the heck did I start talking about that? Well, anyway, but we have had less of those sort of acrimonious, you know, famine, wartime, you know, Vesuvius, natural disaster horror. Like, it seems like those things, in a way that some of it has like slowed down compared to the past, but like the weather stuff, that's a whole new level. And the thing about a cycle, especially when you got like the low, really kind of bummer periods, and then you like claw your way out of the darkness into the better, lighter periods. It happens like over and over. So at some point, you know, things are going to be better. Although, like I said, compared to the past, right now things are pretty good here, at least. Like, we're so dramatic. We think it's way worse than it is, and we're just, so many of us, not in the habit of, you know, looking in the mirror and making we make comparisons all the time, but we don't make the one that's like, I saw this documentary one time, and I think it was in, I don't know, I want to say Kenya or Nigeria, but Shell had moved in, and of course they sold him a bunch of smoke, and went in and just devastated the water that they used for work to feed themselves and to like pay their living with. They just ruined the water and the countryside. And the documentary was on these African guys sneaking in at night and stealing the oil back and selling it themselves. Yes. I mean, like, don't do that, but I mean, if you got that going on in your backyard, you almost can't blame them, right? So, I pulled from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck the Fox card. Hold on now. And you can see at the top there is the Earth icon, or Earth element icon. And I'm going to read from the book about it. And it says, smart, fox, smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. When in balance, magical, ingenious teacher, monogamous. When out of balance, sneaky, unsure of their identity. I don't know who I am. Stop sneaking around and be true to yourself, I guess. To bring into balance, partnership, connection. Well, they are like pack animals, I think, so that makes sense. So I did actually look this up on my, I guess I could look it up again, but I think I can remember in many countries it has like the same associations as the trickster, but also as like a messenger from spirit. So I mean, that to me sounds like it came from indigenous communities, that particular interpretation, and that's fine. To me, they are like a misunderstood animal. I don't know if that's as much the case as it used to be, but I feel like, you know, especially like in Great Britain where they have the fox hunting, it just seemed like they were characterized to be this vermin, these pests that had to be eliminated. And maybe they went after livestock, but you know, you build stuff all over everything, and even if you don't put a building on top of it, maybe you mow down habitat to put down a golf course or to have a lawn or a garden, and it's like that's where the foxes and other animals used to be getting their food from. So then they have to become little tricksters and clever and figure out how to like break into hen houses and what have you. And I mean, come on, people, think about it. So maybe they're mischaracterized. Like maybe they were forced to do stuff. Happens to not just foxes, happens to all manner of people on 4 and 2 and however many legs or none. Appearances are deceiving and also manipulative because they get put on creatures. Because what I see of these guys is that they are playful, they're funny. God, I mean, they get along with cats, for Christ's sake. That's just strange, but they have very similar eyes, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But it's quite a departure from like common thought of these guys. I guess it just is a matter of perspective, and I think it's a good energy to have, you know, especially when times are like, never has trying times had such meaning as a phrase as it has lately to me. And lately I mean like the past decade, and I expect it to get just more and more interesting as time goes on. And I guess that's why I'm constantly saying like, okay, stuff's coming, get ready, you know, get yourself ready for this. They seem so happy too when you see them play, and I don't see that unless they're interacting with humans, really. Like, I don't watch a whole lot of nature documentaries. I have seen them play with each other, which is awful cute. But they're so adaptable, like the book says. I mean, they can just worm their way into a family, and all of a sudden, you got cats and dogs and rabbits and a fox or whatever. They're domesticable. It's probably not great for them, but at the same time, they get to eat and they get to live somewhere, so maybe it's not that bad. And the foxes and the humans get to hang out together, which that can't be bad, if you ask me. Well, you don't have to ask because there's no rules here. I'm just going to say it. There's no one that's going to say you can't do that. So, the angel cards, The 1414 has the subtitle of Lighten Up, and in the vein of what I was just saying, you might have to remind yourself to do that in the upcoming days, months, and years. Just remember, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. 3 steps back. So what do you actually gain out of that? Negative half? That's supposed to be encouraging. Forget I said that. Things are getting better. Things are progressing. Look at it this way. We used to have telegraphs. Now we have telephones. Apply that to everything. Things are not bad. Comparatively, we have been in much worse situations. Like, not just here in the United States. Like, everyone was backward. Everyone was backward, boys. Oh, wait. Shh. Some of us still are. We gotta mix. Anyway. Light up. Not lighten up. Light up. Still, though. Same vein. Same wire. Same wire. Okay. The paragraph reads, focus on your needs, desires, and hobbies. Everything is more accessible with a light attitude. You will be blessed with new opportunities, a new friend, or a new addition to your family. Good vibes will speed up the process. I guess I could read the keywords on here. It says mood swings. I mean, if there's a lot of stuff to react to, you could like go through some stuff. You could be triggered. I mean, or you could be newly traumatized. It's a crapshoot. It's so exciting. Who knows what's gonna happen? Anyway. Yeah. So yeah. Well, whatever you're trying to achieve, definitely good vibes will speed up the process. Like physical health healing. Don't think bad thoughts. Think only positive thoughts. That should be taught to us from a young age, and then it pretty much applies to every situation, you know. No one is preparing for some important exam or something by like the pep talk they're giving themselves is more like a poop talk, and you're going, you suck, you're gonna fail, you'll never win. Like, no one, I mean, I don't, maybe we do that when we don't have a test and we get down on ourselves, but, or a job interview. I just don't know anyone that does that. There probably is someone that like has like just like a low ebb sort of maybe depressive side to them. That might be true, but you know, I got lost. Good vibes, though. I know that was all right. Well, yeah. I mean, I pretty much said it. You know, good, positive thoughts as opposed to this is never gonna work and I'm gonna fuck it up. Like, don't give yourself negative reinforcement. Gee, I should have just said that. This recording would have been over 15 minutes ago. So respect. Well, we all crave it, I know that, but it does need to be earned. So I'll just leave it at that. I mean, just give that a think. Family, constructive outlook, quality. Family, love them if you got them. Constructive outlook, that's like giving yourself the positive pep talk. Like, don't foresee doom in this pursuit that you don't want to doom. You want to succeed. You want to have that dream come true. So think about how good that dream will be when it comes true. Think of like how it's going to change your life for the better. I have a tendency to go negative. I'm constantly having to like step on my own sort of metaphorical throat and say, "What are you doing? Stop!" Because like our body, it hears everything we're saying, and it's just all, "What you said? Step on your own foot." Okay, like that's what it hears. That's what it does. There's no nuance. There's no like, is that a good idea? It does not do that. It just does what you say. So if you're having trouble controlling your thoughts, or, well, yeah, controlling your thoughts, or just like having, or making the effort to not go negative, and that's like a daunting thought. When it first occurred to me, I was like, how the heck am I going to do that? Thoughts happen so fast I can't. But I stopped saying that I couldn't do it. Well, I just stopped saying I couldn't do it and just tried to do it. And I got a lot of work to do, yeah, but sometimes I can pull it off. So I don't know where that was. Quality. I don't know, like, what does that mean to people? I guess it's something you want. In goods, in people, sure. Quality, okay. And the 1010 card, it's up to you. Moderation. Oh, let me read the paragraph first. It's time to put those long cherished ideas into action. You will soon come into contact with the appropriate individuals, circumstances, and resources. Maybe when, like, the cycle restarts, what you have been through, you're now initiated to move into all of these appropriate contact with the appropriate individual, circumstances, and resources. Like, maybe you weren't quite ready yet. Eventually, you will experience joy as well as brand new opportunities. Trust in the process. So I thought, like, this kind of follows right along with the other one, and I love that. The last sentences are, good vibes will speed up the process. Trust in the process. So, good vibes will help speed up the process. That sort of indicates to me, like, it's not always going to be smooth, but, you know, stay positive and that'll make things easier. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down type situation. And trust in the process. Well, you know, things are not always going to be, like, you're not always going to be the winner. They're not always going to be, like, the thing you totally just wanted the way you wanted. Like, sometimes you're not going to have the best day. Things are not going to turn out the way you expected. It happens. I mean, that, you know, learn how to deal with it. Keep a good attitude. Like, whatever it is, it's going to pass. You know, the sun comes up and it goes down and it comes back. So, another cycle. Like, you will always have another chance to retry it, and until you get it right, you know, and then, like, you'll feel better. Things will work better. Time. Okay, so I wrote a little something last night. I'm just gonna read it real quick because the threads are not just in the root map of the trees and the mushrooms. They also go throughout our lives, and I've seen the admonition a number of times from a number of sources to not figure it out, or to not figure everything out. And I assume, like, for me, that means, like, every mysterious thing in life, something that you don't understand, or some sort of injustice that you feel like has happened, it really is not necessary for us to go track it down and, you know, deal with the perpetrators or whatever. And And the admonition is, don't do it because you don't need to, because, well, things have already been set in motion. Everything that's going to happen, you don't need to do anything more. Like, it's just going to happen. So just relax in it and stop trying to, like, grab the wheel. So, but I can't help but notice things, man. Like, sometimes things just don't add up. And then I'll see something else weird and I'll go, God, that's kind of like that. And the pair is just disturbing for the implications. So I saw this documentary months and months ago now. So, but it was plenty disturbing. And it was called, it's on Netflix, and it's called American Conspiracy, colon, is it a semicolon with the 2 dots? I think it's a semicolon. So semicolon, the octopus, or octopus. And what it is really awful, like, goings on with, like, our government, of things that we're not really supposed to know about, I guess, because they certainly didn't seem above board. And just the way that everything worked out is kind of terrifying. And, like, what gets allowed to happen, you're just like, the person did what, and who let him do it? Oh my God. But we always have some inkling, like, we know stuff goes on that's, like, shady, that we don't know about, for, like, national safety or national security, or, like, for the public's own good. Like, they should know this. And so here comes, months and months later, this Diddy stuff. And to me, there are about 2 different veins of yuck, but also very similar, because they deal with like, government law enforcement, and it's stuff that you're like, I don't want them doing that. And it reminds me of something else too. God, then there was a documentary about it, but there was a reporter in the 80s for, I think, the Sacramento Bee in California, and his name was Jeff Webb, and that was a pretty small circulation paper. But yeah, I mean, they had perfectly good reporters on there, like Jeff Webb. So he found some thread, and it led him to the Iran weapons and South American cocaine dump into the United States, Iran-Contra, something of that nature. I don't remember the documentary for that one, but there is one. So Jeff Webb, or Sacramento Bee and the San Jose Mercury News, if you use those keywords, you should get his story, and that documentary should be on there. And that's more of this type of disturbing government stuff that's just kind of out of sight. So I was thinking of that, and this is what it wrote. This is what came out. Acting as if everything is fine, even if fine, and especially when it super looks like nothing is fine. I can't stop paying attention to inconsistencies in life. Those everything looks rosy, clean, happy, and healthy on the surface things. But peel up the corner of the blanket we're happily picnicking right atop, and there are ever-present scouts for representatives of legions of vermin, we'd call them, if they openly stepped onto the blanket to help themselves to the sweet, delicious spread. We are horrified. We get mad. Ugh, disgusting. How dare they try to help themselves. them bugs. What? What do we mean? How dare we? That's the question. We packed up and brought all of the nice food and drink up to where the bugs are. Why are we surprised? We brought it out and set it down right where they live. Hello? If that isn't a metaphor for our own denseness, for the shit we deposit ourselves in and then act like we can't figure out how it ended up in some mess. It doesn't play out the same way for everyone, but I know I have at least said a thing or two that repercussed back at me. Then I had to face the music. It's been a long time since I made that particular misstep, but the memory is fresh. Something I did came back to bite. I had to face my accuser. Had I held my tongue, I would not have had to explain myself to an unhappy individual, because it was an unfortunate it was an unfortunate recurrence that I had to change my ways. That's a bad sentence, but I'll just go with it. 2 things. Stop saying things like that. Could foresee regretting later. And then I stopped. Or try not to, mostly, not to regret my actions. Done in good faith, no regrets need apply. So I don't know where that... I guess basically what it means is that we kind of gleefully ignore really awful stuff that's happening, like right under the blanket we're sitting on, like kind of right in front of our faces, and we're just kind of letting it happen and not really doing much but sort of protesting, or just ignoring it, or going like, horrible, can't even look at that. That does not stop the horror from still going on. So especially if we are like directly involved in it, like we got skin in the game, that is an opportunity to not give in to temptation, because that's, no matter where it comes from, the idea to not give in to temptation is usually a pretty good one, because it just, that's a gateway thing right there, you know. Like, you give into the temptation for one thing and it's like, that was easy, nothing happened, I'm gonna keep doing it, I'm enjoying myself. And yet there's a sort of a nasty force behind the temptation, and that is something that we can pick up, that a trickster, or that we can open ourselves up to, that a trickster energy could definitely take advantage of. Spirit energy, live, living and breathing energy, of like a manipulative person, a thief, like a bad guy. So, I guess what I'm saying is we don't just let that happen, and we will give into it to either get something we really want, like there's that temptation, or we're just too fearful to stand up and like say and do what's right in the face of temptation, even when it's like sort of threatening, regardless of the consequences, because that, like in the biblical sense, that is like the ultimate right thing to do. But it doesn't have to just be biblical. Like, sometimes when someone does something to you that you feel like is out of your control, you do have the opportunity to just take your control back. It might result in you getting like smacked or worse or something, depending on the situation. I mean, you got a wide weight of variance with what I'm saying, but we're like fearful of consequences, and we'd rather give into temptation, and there's nothing good about that. Like, you tend to lose that moderation it's up to you. It's up to you to like decide, am I gonna be crappy because I want some stupid thing? And I'm sorry, that's just like, I guess it like really offends me. Like, I want stupid things, but I'm not gonna like do stupid things to get stupid things. And I don't think it's a good idea. Like, I have heard a lot of things that kind of warn us away from doing things like that, and we don't listen, and then we end up at a at a Diddy party. So I mean, don't lift up the blanket and crawl under there. I guess is what I'm saying. You know, but truly, like, when I say you gotta act as if like none of that's going on, like, I don't mean in the completely ignorant sense. I mean, you know, like, something's going on. So for your own life, you want to act as if it isn't. Like, you don't want to invite it in. You don't want to take part in it, is what I'm saying, I guess. The things I come up with sometimes come out with. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, like, take it or leave it. Thank you and good night.